What's next for you?
So my number 5, I hope you don't have this on your list as well, because otherwise we're just going to skip through it.
We're just going to skip all your films.
Yeah. So my number 5 is a bit of a noir film from 1953, directed by Fritz Lang, and it's The Big Heat.
I do not have it on my list.
Good. We don't have to skip through mine. So yeah, what a film! What a very dark and violent noir film this is. And you've got Glenn Ford, you've got Gloria Grahame, you've got Lee Marvin, great cast of actors, all familiar with the noir genre. Gloria Grahame, of course, was in A Lonely Place, and she was also in The Bad and the Beautiful. Crossfire as well, which had Robert Ryan. Odds Against Tomorrow. And this is just also a film about revenge. This is like a revenge movie in a lot of ways.
Oh, big time.
And it's a murder mystery. Like, the film starts with a suicide, and it's like all these kind of corrupt individuals in this no-named American town are sort of, scrambling to kind of keep their sort of, organization intact, while this sort of good cop played by Glenn Ford tries to take them down. But in doing so, puts himself in their sort of crossfire, and his wife is killed in a car bomb meant for him. And then he goes on sort of like a revenge mission to try and, take these guys down with the help of Gloria Grahame, who's like the mistress of Lee Marvin's character. And because of their sort of, connection and meeting each other, Lee Marvin, there's a very memorable but incredibly violent scene where a coffee pot is used. And it's quite, I mean, you don't see coffee being like thrown in someone's face, but still the sound effect and the feeling of it, it's
really visceral.
Yeah. I was literally just about to say it's very visceral. And also just like the image of Gloria Grahame, dressed in like this, we're the women of the mink, that she says to one of the characters. I can't remember the line exactly, but you see the bandage on her face, and even the makeup as well when she shows it at the end is quite, it's quite graphic.
Yeah, the violence in this movie, and in like a lot of Fritz Lang films, and I mean, he talks about it in interviews late in his career, how he wants violence to be something that you experience, on this kind of deep level, because it's so fearful, it's so, it is one of the greatest fears that we have as a species, is of this kind of like, of being hurt in this way by other people. And rather than just like having people get shot and fall down, clutching their stomach, when you see people get hurt in Fritz Lang movies, I mean, the pain is real. You feel the pain as a viewer, and there's a great amount of emotional pain in this, which is comes out of the fact that Glenn Ford's performance is so. It's so kind of poignant and genuine. His emotiveness. For quite a sort of, not a wooden actor exactly, but quite a sort of straight-laced actor. You wouldn't necessarily expect him to have, the ability to kind of make a lump appear in your throat as he's talking about his dead wife. Who's played by
that scene when he talks to his superiors or someone who's like a DA or district attorney. He says like, how is your daughter taking your wife's death? She thinks she's on vacation.
Well, that's also weird. That's like that very kind of mid-century thing of like, we just won't tell her that her mother's dead, and we'll let her be traumatized later on. I mean, I'm thinking of the scene where he talks to Gloria Grahame about her, which is very sweet.
Yeah. That scene's great.
It has moments where it's a little, it's got that great kind of simplicity of like, there's the syndicate and we've got to take it down, and then there's bad cops and the good cops. But then it does end with quite a sort of like, well, that's all done now, and I'm just a cop.
Should settle that then.
Yeah, and then at the end of the film, the last line of the film is he's like, keep the coffee hot, and he's like, we've just seen 2 people get scolded by hot coffee, and that's what you want to go out on anyway.
Yeah. It is very sort of anticlimactic. It is just sort of like that newspaper cliche of like, this guy's got arrested, but we don't see it. It is just like everything's good.
Yeah,
the bad guys lose.
Nitpicking a little bit, but it's an extremely fine. One of the last great film noirs in some ways. Although is it a noir? Is it just a really good black and white thriller? There's a debate to be had there. Either way, it's a great film, very entertaining, very well
Great
done.
cinematography from Charles Lang. I'm just looking at his filmography. He did a few little films like this, Charade and Ace in the Hole, and also Wait Until Dark with Audrey Hepburn and now the late great Alan Arkin, which is a absolutely chilling movie.
Oh, I still haven't seen that. But it's not from the
you'd
50s.
love it. You'd love Wait Until Dark. It's a great film.
Yeah, not from the 50s though.
Not from the 50s, no. It was from the 60s, or yeah, it's from the 60s.